Welcome to the session, everyone. I can see that we have quite a few participants already joining us. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And welcome to the session. My name is Lakshmi. I'm from the marketing team here at SuperOps. And we are going to discuss stronger security, fewer emergencies, how SuperOps and Acronis reduce risk and downtime. The speakers for today's session are Ani from SuperOps and Lulu from Acronis. We're very excited to have you guys join us today. Go ahead, Ani and Lulu, please introduce yourself.
Sure. Thanks, Lakshmi. And it's nice to have all of you here on the call, guys. And today's topic is something that I hold very dearly for the future, looking at stronger security from an RMM perspective, how the landscape has evolved to where security is very critical. So pretty excited to talk about this topic today. And nice to see you, Lulu. Hi.
Thank you, Ani, and thanks to both of you for having me. I'm Lubomira. Everybody calls me Lulu. I come from Acronis. I'm a senior product manager on the ecosystem and integrations team. And what I do in Acronis is build our own integrations, but also work with fantastic partners like SuperOps in helping them with their integrations. So I'm thrilled to be here because I do believe that when we have an integrated ecosystem between vendors, this is when we really make MSPs productive and successful.
Perfect. Thank you, Ani and Lulu, and let's get started.
Perfect.
Right. Now, before we dive in, let me quickly walk all of you through the agenda for today's session. The session is really focused on helping MSPs move from reactive firefighting to a more proactive, resilient approach to IT operations. We'll also connect the dots between operations, security, and recovery throughout the session. And with that context in mind, let's try and understand what the current MSP environment is looking like today. So to set the stage, let me take a step back and look at the current reality of MSP today. We're seeing increasing complexity across environments, rising cybersecurity threats, and higher customer expectations, all happening at the same time. And this combination is making day-to-day operations significantly harder to manage. So, Ani, help me understand, what is the reality really looking like for MSPs today?
That's a great question, and the correct starting point for this entire webinar, right? With the advent of AI is not just used for productivity and for all the good and positive purposes, but right from, say, for the last decade, the security stack has been under a lot of challenges, both for internal IT as well as MSPs. More so for the MSPs because you guys are outsourced services, and our SLAs and all of our KPIs are tied actually to finding out how secure we manage all these endpoints. So on one side, the ransomware threats and cyber threats have been increasing. On the second side, as a result of that, the customer expectations around uptime and maintaining security posture and so on also has increased. Third, as the needs of us MSPs and technicians and admins and owners increases, we find more niche products. There is no one product fits all, or that was what was the reality till around a couple of years ago, where we used to use one product for a backup, one product for a AV and EDR, and then the cyber security and email security. All of these were different products, and that actually in turn led to a lot of tool sprawl, adding to the operational challenges, leading to inefficiencies for the technicians and MSP as a whole. And also, because of the kind of sprawl we looked at, it's pretty reactive. It's not a proactive operations. We are always MSPs. Us MSPs are always on the back foot. An issue happening, and then we getting an alert, and then raising a ticket and so on. So it has always been reactive, sort of put together all of the challenges. So downtime and data loss are no longer just technical incidents. They impact the kind of trust a client has on the MSP, what the reputation in the market is, how many incidents are there, any incidents at all? Because it's not just reputation, it's also legally binding for the MSPs, and there might be financial impact as well if it is not managed properly. So all of these are the kind of challenges the MSPs and IT teams of today face. And given that, it makes it all the more imperative that we have the right set of security tool stack working and coexisting on par with the RMMs of the world, RMMs and PSAs, which is the operating layer here. So that would be my take. Any thoughts there, Lulu?
Yes, I absolutely agree. Especially nowadays, we're seeing that not only that threats are becoming more frequent. For example, a ransomware threat is happening every 11 seconds, if you want to believe it. We're seeing that customers as a whole require more complete approach towards protection, and they require basically the North Star that we are looking at is that customers don't even want to know that there has been a problem. And the way to do this is to shift from this reactive firefighting into this proactive resilience with integrations, exactly as you mentioned, integrations between the security part and the RMM. Therefore, it allows MSPs to see the threat in the minute that it comes, and then remediate. And then the customer doesn't even know that there has been a threat. They find out about this only in their monthly report, and they're extremely satisfied with the MSP service.
Thank you, guys, for this perspective. Moving on. So this is the first of the topics in the agenda that we're covering today, a very important topic that I think will set a really good stage for the next couple of topics that we will be talking about. Lulu, this is something that I'm really interested to know. We've looked at the challenges. Now, the next question becomes, how do MSPs in reality actually reduce risk? Now, the answer lies in maybe a more layered, more proactive protection strategy instead of just relying on several isolated tools in this environment. Now, this is where combining monitoring, security, backup, and all becomes really powerful. So can you help us break down this layered system, especially from a security and backup perspective?
Absolutely. Thank you, Lakshmi. Well, with SuperOps and Acronis, MSPs have this complete picture because, as you mentioned, it's very important that we have monitoring, that we have proper alerting. And the way to do this is by having an RMM that we can rely on. Once we have this RMM that we can rely on, then on the security part, on the Acronis part, we know that we can, as at the minute a ransomware is detected, then the ticket will be created in the SuperOps RMM. As you know, now we're looking at more advanced threats. And sometimes at the downtime without proper backup and without proper alerting and without proper integrations could become up to 3 weeks, if you want to believe it. What we do in Acronis is we detect the ransomware at the minute it happens, and then we push an alert to the RMM. So basically, downtime is brought down from 21 days to minutes. Another thing that we're seeing is, of course, that customers expect to have not only the regular ransomware threat detection, but they expect to have EDR, MDR. They expect to have very proactive approach towards their security. Now we don't rely just on antivirus. We must rely on many more much more advanced tools. And what we're doing in Acronis, and I think that this corresponds very well and collaborates very well with SuperOps, is that we provide not only antivirus, not only ransomware threat detection, but also vulnerability scans, also EDR, MDR, and this can all be enabled through SuperOps. So having this the synergy between our system really helps MSPs reduce downtime. And of course, the real impact that we're looking for is client confidence. Clients want to know, we have immutable backups, we have real-time ransomware protection. We want, as MSPs, to demonstrate protection with monthly security reports. We want to show the threats blocked and backup success rates. And of course, as an MSP business, to ultimately drive revenue up without having more additional work for our technicians, and of course, win more clients and sleep better.
Thank you, Lulu. Any additional POV there?
Just bringing more things. Thanks, Lulu, for bringing that up and just trying to add some additional context here, right? We talked about the challenges that we saw and how this plays into the backup and security challenges of today. Visibility is actually totally fragmented. Tool sprawl we talked about, and we talked about incident response closing down. But imagine you had the RMM, the PS and the RMM, the unified SuperOps layer on one side, and you had the Acronis backup and security tool stack on the other, both talking to each other. That is what is the view that we envision for our users, for our MSPs and IT teams of the world, right? Where we centralize the visibility across the clients. It's not just alerts getting created as tickets, but then we have the assets here and we have the backup and all of the security stack here. How do we bring it both together to give that one single visibility, something that you guys will actually be seeing in the demo that we are going to follow this up with? And then not just say visibility, but then take actions. For example, we cover a part of that during the demo, and also rest of it, all of you can try it out on our accounts. If you're already a customer, you could actually try it on our account, or you sign up for a trial and you could actually try out how this works. So we try to bring in the visibility, we try to bring in that unified layer from an actions perspective also. And then not just that, how do the policies actually enable policies is where all of our automation crux resides. So how do the two tools talk at the back end to actually enable automation and policies, so that overall your operational efficiency increases, your control increases as a result of better visibility and transparency, which in turn leads to more proactive operations and better security posture. So that covers the entire view, sort of what we are looking into in terms of why in today the integration matters. Again, what integrations meant, say 5 years ago, is totally changed from what it was 2 years ago to what it means today. 5 years ago, probably an alert creating a ticket via an API, that is what was qualified as an integration. Then we moved on to the place where auto installation of agents and then showing some visibility was enough. But today, with the advancement in the technologies and AI and all of that, we are at a stage where, say, an RMM tool such as SuperOps could talk very cohesively with a security vendor such as Acronis and bring that value to the customers that we envision here.
Perfect, yes. Thank you. This is one of the key points that we discussed was, of course, having a unified visibility across all these tools into one single pane of glass, which is why this is a great segue into the next slide, why integrated platforms matter. So one of the biggest blockers to achieving that layered protection is tool sprawl. We spoke a little bit about that in the previous slide. When backup, security, and management tools operate across multiple silos, it creates friction, it slows everything down, and that often leads to delayed responses and missed signals. Ani, I know you spoke about this a little bit, but can you maybe expand on this a little bit more? Can you explain how integrated platforms change an MSP's experience?
So from a place of, I think my backup is running. I think my AV policies are running. My EDR and MDR policies are running. I think everything is in order. That's the kind of place that probably we were 2-3 years back, to actually knowing that I know everything's running because I see it here. I don't need to keep switching context into my backup or security tool every other minute or every other hour, or trying to see if there are any new incidents. Are there any backup scans that failed, or are there any backup jobs that failed? Are there any quarantine files? I don't need to keep checking back into my security stack. Whatever I need as key insights, that's already built into my workflow in SuperOps. For example, one of the critical outcomes that we've solved via the integration is alerts from Acronis are created as tickets, and you can actually customize what is the severity depending on the event. So the tickets get created, and tickets are your workflow. Tickets are our inbox, our work inbox, right? And so you don't miss any context. You don't also need to keep switching tabs to go every 1 hour, every couple of hours there. So this is what an integrated platform can bring when two tools that are critical to operations can talk to each other. The kind of insights, the kind of transparency and visibility that brings to the forefront is something that will add a lot of value to day-to-day operational efficiencies for MSPs.
Perfect.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just to add something on top of that, sometimes that you can, like, the goal of having integrated platforms and of having this integrated ecosystem is indeed to provide this single pane of glass. Yes, we all talk about this, but it's important. And sometimes we're seeing that nowadays with modern platforms, you can do this within the tools of the platform. But other times you want to use another system for additional capabilities because your platform doesn't give you the capabilities that you want. And this is why having this integrated system is so important, because as Ani mentioned, we're really looking at real workflow automation here. We're really looking at real optimization of MSP processes. And by the way, just something to share internally from Acronis, we're seeing that partners who use integrated solutions are onboarding their customers much faster. And ultimately, that is what we're striving for, because when partners onboard their customers much faster, they can onboard many more customers. They can do much more work. They can offer many more services. And because of this increased productivity, these partners end up having better protected customer environments.
Perfect. Which leads us to the first of the points in the agenda, which is reducing client downtime and improving recovery. So from setting the stage, ultimately, all of this ties back to one critical outcome, Ani and Lulu, which is minimizing downtime and recovering faster when incidents actually occur. So, because at the end of the day, downtime directly impacts client trust and business continuity. And so speed and visibility are especially critical during these moments. Ani and Lulu, I'd like to get your perspective on both of this. Let's talk about how this integration specifically is also helping MSPs tackle this and also improving, recovery times.
Sure, Lulu, you want to go for that one?
Yeah, absolutely. I can start with what we can detect at Acronis, and then I suggest you continue with how much of these could be automated through the integration. So with downtime and recovery, we have multiple scenarios. We could have downtime because of a ransomware attack. We can have downtime because of server hardware failure or accidental file deletion. We all know that clients love doing this, and then they call the technician extremely nervous, and they tell the technician, "Oh, please help me, I deleted this file, it was so important." But all of these could be resolved with the integration between SuperOps and Acronis, because before the integration, for example, let's imagine that backup fails. what happens before the integration? Backup fails silently, and this is discovered during an emergency, and there is no valid recovery point. So overall, we have this extended downtime, and even worse, we have data loss. When we combine the magic of Acronis and SuperOps together, once we have a backup fail in Acronis, immediately we see a ticket in SuperOps. The technician is notified immediately, then they fix the issue, the next backup succeeds, and the client never finds out. They see this only in the monthly report, and they're extremely happy with the service that MSP has provided. What we also have is in the accidental file deletion, basically MSPs can go directly and select the exact file from within the Acronis console. They would get the alert, or they would get the call in this case, and they could go into Acronis directly and select the exact file that they want to recover. No need to go to scroll through files, folders. No need to get all of these, finding the endpoint of the customer. They just go and restore this immediately. So with these two simple scenarios, basically, I'm trying to show that when we have these integrated solutions, when we have these automated ticket creation, we can act much faster. And then, Anif, maybe you want to add something on the integration perspective and on the automation perspective.
Yes, sure. Thanks for bringing that perspective in, Lulu. Because from an integration perspective, how we have actually designed this is you could actually, and of course, you could have all your clients on SuperOps as well as Acronis. And the key piece is how do you link up the two, how the integration is. Probably I'll cover that in detail when we go through the demo, but it is pretty simple, right? So once you hook up or link Acronis and SuperOps RMM, the two talk to each other. We try to map the clients and the assets and all the sites, all the data is actually matched automatically together. And then the Acronis agent just starts getting deployed via the SuperOps agent. So that's the start of the automations. Once that is done, your policies are mapped and all your automations try to kick in from there. So first you get the auto installation of the agent, then you get to see the status, what is the schedule status, what is the protection status. Then you also a few devices that are enabled you can even look at actions, certain actions that you can run from the device here, and also the alert to ticket, which is a pretty neat automation from our end that actually will bring it right into your day-to-day ticketing flows here. So all of that along with the policy structure that we already have in the RMM. All of you guys might already know that we have a pretty strong RMM that also takes care of your overall OS patching compliance, your security status, your software management, your overall alerting, not just say a backup or an antivirus or a security vendor, but then your overall system device health, or alerting, monitoring, and management, all your automations, we are scripting. All of that is what the depth and RMM brings, and when that is coupled with the strengths that say Acronis brings from a security perspective, you see all of that coming together in the single pane of glass. So that's how much of a value that we add as a partnership to the day-to-day workflow and helping MSPs reduce the downtime and improve the recovery time as outcomes overall.
Thank you, Ani. Thank you, Lulu. Maybe another, another one of the very last points in this agenda before we move on to the demo is also, of course, our next slide, which is how AI helps MSPs make faster decisions. I know we have covered the reactive, the problems, the what we can do to reduce impact of security failures and other things like that. But how does AI play a role here, especially now? So it's no longer a nice to have. I know it's becoming essential for teams to prioritize, predict, and act faster. So it's essentially giving technicians the context they need without digging through multiple tools. Ani and Lulu help me and help all of us understand how AI is being used across both SuperOps and Acronis to drive smarter decisions, to improve on efficiency and other needful impact.
Perfect. Probably I'll jump on that first and then pass it back to Lulu. So, on the core operation piece, both the PSA and the RMM, right? SuperOps, we take an AI first approach over the last year. That's been our strategy of, okay, how do we best make use of AI as a technology to deliver quicker, better, and more secure solutions and outcomes for our customers, be it MSPs or IT teams of the world, right? So, right from, say, the ticketing workflows, where all the grunt work, all the low value stuff that all of the admins are always following up our technicians for, summarize a ticket, always add work logs. Work logs are us technicians, we know how challenging it is to capture work and record the time when each ticket is done. So right from small things like adding work logs, depending on how much time is spent on a ticket, to summarizing, adding work log notes, log notes there, trying to find similar tickets on how this particular issue was troubleshot. Last time it came out to how can we make use of KBs to actually better respond to the issues that are coming out? How can we be more proactive, more predictive? So all of that on the ticketing side, and on the RMM side, of course, the scripting flows, we all make use of automations and scripts. Either we rely on the community, or if we are really good enough, we create our own scripts. But now with the prompt, we could just create whatever PowerShell bash bat script that we need. And what is unique to SuperOps that probably not a lot of the other, mostly none of the other RMM vendors have, is the patch intelligence with respect to OS patches, right? That is something that we are very proud of, and what we have been launched recently, and what our customers are using on a day in and day out basis, where we try to bring in the intelligence of each and every OS patch so that you can clearly make a decision of whether to approve it or not just by looking at the screen here. Probably we could give a glimpse later, but those are things that how AI is being utilized as a technology to deliver better outcomes for our users on a day-to-day basis. And I'm sure Lulu has a lot to share when it comes to how AI is being leveraged on the Acronis side as well.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, may I say that I'm really impressed with the automation that SuperOps has achieved through AI, especially the AI scripting and the patch management capabilities. So I believe that these really speed up workflows from MSPs. And what I can add on the other side from Acronis is a different layer. It's another layer. As we're seeing throughout this whole webinar, we have SuperOps as the automation command center, and we have Acronis as the protection layer. So at Acronis, what we're doing with AI is Gen AI protection. We call it Gen AI protection. Basically, what we're doing is that we prevent AI applications from being weaponized against your clients. As you know, all of our clients, all of our customers, they use AI, and MSPs know that this is very dangerous because sensitive information can be shared through prompts. Then currently we're seeing that we can have even prompt injection attacks nowadays. So what Acronis is doing with Gen AI protection is that it lets the MSP discover first of all, what Gen AI tools are used by the customer, then monitor usage patterns of this Gen AI, and stop data leaks or detect prompt injection attacks before they happen, before they exit the environment of the customer. So with this service, MSPs can provide this, basically they can turn this AI risk that we're seeing nowadays, that is spread all across every company, no matter of the size, they can turn it into a revenue opportunity. This additional revenue could be offered, could be generated by MSPs through our partnership with SuperOps. And basically, without having to learn any additional tools or anything, they just add specific price per workload per month. And you know that this workload is protected from these data leaks, from prompt injection attacks, etc.
Perfect. Thank you, Lulu and Ani. Okay, folks, so we've looked at the whys, we have set the scene, we've also looked at the need for the integration, why it's so necessary. And of course, we've looked at the AI layer in this particular integration and the partnership. So now we're going to look at the hows of it. Ani, I will hand it over to you to show the demo of the integration. And let's go ahead. I'm stopping my screen share for now, Ani, and you can take over.
Sure. Let me know once my screen is up, guys.
Yes, we can see that. Yeah.
A lot of you might already be familiar with our UI. This is the SuperOps UI. On the left, you see the entire all the modules that we have, right? So right from your work management, your ticketing, task, projects, timesheets to the entire RMM, the asset management piece, your assets, alerts, patches, scripts, and network, your whole of the client management with the contracts, the invoices, your codes and sales inbox, and then a fully built out IT documentation module with knowledge base and IT documentations and passwords and SSHs there. And then, of course, the reporting that sits on top of all of this, whatever data we gather, we monitor, we store, you would be able to query that and see that. So with that, this is our integrations marketplace where you would come across Acronis as the backup and antivirus here. So the very first step that we want to do here is actually integrate the two pieces, the Acronis backend and the SuperOps backend. And for that, you need to enable the integration and authorize SuperOps to touch base with your instance at Acronis. So for that, first you might need the Acronis data center URL. So on the Acronis portal, you might have to navigate to the settings page where you would see the URL of your particular instance. And from there, you could just copy paste it here along with the client ID. All of it is copy pastable, retrievable on the same screen. From then on, you move to the client secret key. And this is the actual authorization that you are giving to SuperOps from Acronis to actually take them through, to allow us to actually talk to the backend of Acronis. So once this is done, you press the connect button. The next step is actually mapping the clients. So what you see here is once that setup of the two backends is done, we actually fetch all the clients in SuperOps and we would try to say probably choose. For example, my first customer is the customers that is there in Acronis today, and we would want to actually enable it with another customer here. These are new clients I've already mapped, but then if you look at the set of mapped clients here, say Winterfell is actually mapped to Demon Slayer. So we a lot of these clients would actually be handled automatically here. If there is a match in the name, you would see that being captured and they would be mapped here. So either you could do the mapping straight away, or you don't want a client in Acronis to be integrated with a client in SuperOps, you could go ahead and ignore them, not do the link up between the client and client. Or if since SuperOps is the PSA and SuperOps is a source of truth for the clients, if you want to create them, if they don't exist in Acronis, which is the case here where these many clients are there in SuperOps and you're just setting up an onboarding Acronis, so you could create all of them in Acronis and then map them here. So once you press the import button, where it moves on to is the next piece. So first we set up the credentials so that SuperOps and Acronis can talk to each other. Then we mapped the clients, and the third and the critical piece is mapping the protection plan. So on Acronis, you have certain plans that you have, say for example, complete protection, which according to the client that I've mapped, I can actually set it up. So for Winterfell, I want to do complete protection. This actually tells SuperOps what plan is configured on Acronis and how we have to handle the agent installation. So once this piece is done, once this is the entire setup here, once you do that, you might have to move to, say, the second step is actually, so the integration is done. Now you have to move to the policy page to enable the automation. Say, let me move to Windows Workstation policies there. And there, this is our very able and in-depth policy structure. You see your alerting, your patching, your automations, your AVs. So Acronis, not just backup, but then we integrate with the Acronis EDR and MDR capabilities, which have been all the rage in the market over the last year. And we do integrate with them also. So software management, and here's the data backup place where we actually add Acronis to this policy. So this actually goes and sits and you have to turn it on. So once you turn this on and you enable Acronis here, it gets applied. You just have to move this up. You just have to save it, and once the save is done, you would see that getting triggered. Say, for example, this is a particular asset where I've actually already done that, and you see on the asset page where we retrieve all the other info, the backup is already done, right? Say here, the Acronis agent was already installed, and you see the status from Acronis here. The error is actually saying that Acronis is not fully configured, or there is a status on the backup status from Acronis to this particular device. And hence, first, you see that you can also take all the actions. You could actually just initiate a quick scan. You can do a custom scan. You can do a full scan. All of the top Acronis actions you could actually initiate right from the asset here. Just to show another device here, right? And this is another device where you see that the Acronis backup is scheduled to happen. What is the protection plan that it is on? When is the next runtime? And what is the cyber score? So first, as soon as the integration was set up and the policy was configured, you could see that the Acronis triggered by the system, the installation of Acronis was triggered. Once installation happens, you get a success message, and after that, you see that we start fetching all the information from the Acronis portal right into SuperOps on that asset. So you know the protection plan they are on, when the next backup or security scan is scheduled. You also get to see the cyber fit score, which is a pretty important metric from Acronis, and this is of course customizable based on feedback. We would be able to go back and configure whatever else that you guys wish for. So one, auto installation of agent. Two, you saw that we are able to fetch the data. Three, you have the top Acronis actions right here. And of course, any of the alerts that get created on Acronis gets converted to tickets here on the assets as well. So any of the tickets, you would be clearly able to see how, say, a backup or an AV ticket comes up, right? And how an alert was converted to a ticket. So we cover the entire piece of it here. And this is just the first phase of integration that we work out of between the two of us, Acronis and SuperOps. We have a second version, a bit wider vision, where we want to go deeper into this and bring the two tools closer. What additional insights and outcomes can we deliver right from SuperOps? What additional data can we share from SuperOps into Acronis so that you guys can benefit? So all of this is something that between me, Lulu, Lakshmi, we're all working out of. Caroline is also there on the call. All of us work together to try and innovate how we can bring more outcomes together through this partnership. But I'll take a pause here, and broadly, that would be the overall integration flow that we have for you today. But anything to add on top of that, Lulu?
Well, on top of the integration part, I have nothing to add. Just I really like how smooth everything is, how automated everything is. We have all the information within the asset. Then we have the tickets. We have absolutely everything that we might need to help MSPs automate their processes. And of course, all within the nice and clean UI of SuperOps. So yeah, it's really nice. And as Ani mentioned, we are looking to add more features. And of course, doing this, it's extremely important that we get all of your feedback about this. So any ideas that you might have for new features of the integration, anything that you feel is missing that we just presented, just let Ani, let Lakshmi know, let us know in the comments, and we'll be very happy to get on additional calls with you so we can discuss your workflows.
Thank you, Lulu. Thank you, Ani, for the demo. So folks, as we come towards the end of this session, let's bring everything together and talk about the actual tangible value of this integration. So now through the session, what we've identified is two critical layers. Basically, SuperOps that sits as your command center for all things operational, and Acronis that is your protection layer for all things backup, security, and more. But is it only just that? So I would like to ask Ani and Lulu, can we expand on this partnership more? What are we looking beyond this integration?
As we're seeing nowadays, we just antivirus or just threat detection is not enough. We need to go beyond. And Acronis goes beyond the endpoint with integrated M365 backups, email protection, security awareness training. MSPs are already protecting their clients, but nowadays they also need to have XDR. XDR is a no-brainer basically. But what should MSPs do in the case where they need a specialized team to perform monitoring of XDR incidents? Acronis provides MDR service, so the entire security side is outsourced, and this service could be activated through SuperOps. So basically, what MSPs are getting with the MDR is they get an additional service that they can offer to their clients that they simply activate through SuperOps, and then they just collect the revenue because the team and the management is all on Acronis side. This is one thing. Then, what we're looking for is to add more revenues for MSPs in the easiest possible way for them without them having to learn additional tools, and also to do this through our partnership with SuperOps. Additionally, what we can do is decrease the human error part with security awareness training. Because yes, we can provide the best backup tools, we can provide the best security tools, the best threat detection, but 90% of breaches start with the human error. So the way to prevent these human error generated breaches is by having security awareness training added for your customers. Together with SuperOps and Acronis, you can, as an MSP, you can add this additional service for your customers. And again, it's just a matter of adding the service and saying, yes, we have the service, and then everything is done. Nothing is done on your side. You shouldn't learn a new tool on how to perform this. And at the end, of course, what we talked about, Gen AI, this Gen AI protection, most MSPs don't offer this yet, as you know. So an MSP, throughout this partnership with SuperOps and Acronis, an MSP can stand out by offering Gen AI protection.
Ani, your POV? Thank you, Lulu.
And that actually total alignment from my end, because I've talked to our customers, a big chunk of them MSPs over the last year or so, and a lot of them talk about the impact the security awareness training brings to their clients and requesters and end users, right? As you rightly said, a big chunk of all the compromises happen from human errors, not security breaches or hacks, but then the loopholes that are left open, which unknowingly a user opens the door to a very shady character or for any attackers, so to say, and how the security awareness training has actually sensitized and educated a lot of these end users on the best practices, the do's and don'ts, etc. From a revenue perspective, also for the value that MSPs can actually add to the clients, this is something that a lot of the clients actually budget for in their annual IT budgets, and hence the MSPs can just directly charge them back as part of the overall service. But I've heard a lot of our customers bring us back this feedback that it's mighty helpful, and they see the attack surface greatly reduced because the end users are a lot more vigilant towards the best practices. So this is something that I know Acronis added recently, and it's actually reached right now, Lulu. That's actually a great point. Probably we can share a few minutes for the questions that are trickling in.
Yes.
If there is anything else, Lakshmi, yeah.
Yeah, so the floor is open, folks. If you have any questions, let me see the chat. Yes, we
I
will
see a
share
couple
the
from Suresh. Yeah.
We have a couple of questions on folks asking us if they'll share the recording. Yes, this recording will be shared to everybody. We've had somebody who's asked if, there is one question. Somebody's asked how much backup is available, and
Probably I'll take that one, Lakshmi. I think
yeah.
before that, I see a question from Suresh. Yes, you can. So the partnership that SuperOps and Acronis has to offer is two ways. So the question is around, can I use the already existing Acronis account I have? So it's from Suresh Kumar. I see that question. Yes, you can use the existing Acronis account that you already use, or you can also talk to your SuperOps account manager to actually purchase that from us. We partner with Acronis not just on the technology side, but also from a go-to-market side, where we have bundles and packages that you can buy just from right out of SuperOps' package. And it's just one invoice you have to pay. You don't need to manage two vendors. It's just SuperOps, and we internally partner on the GTM selling with Acronis. I'm glad to see Suresh has just responded. So I think one of our participants here pings that question to us 20 minutes back. And as we were doing the demo, our participant tried to do that, and they've just confirmed back to us that they were able to add the integration and they're able to see the data flow. So that's one question. I also see Daniel Huge sharing, I think Hudex sharing insights to me and Lulu on what are the important pieces that they would like us to. So which plan is being used for backup, totally relevant. How much backup, what is the consumption and usage data available, totally agree, Daniel. And the function to start backup now from SuperOps dashboard. So actions, we could double down on that. We already have a few, but then additional actions are also on the way. So that sets a broad template on what you're looking at, and that's good insight for me and Lulu to work it off. And while we address these questions, guys, another poll on your screen. Would you be interested in seeing a SuperOps or a Acronis demo? Please take a response here so that our teams will actually reach out to you. You're already a customer. Well and good. Strap in, get the integration working, and let us know what you would like to see additionally from the partnership. But then you're interested in any of the two products, let us know through this poll so that our team can reach out.
Yes, and we are support team, Acronis and SuperOps. Folks, if you have any other queries, if you want a demo, please reach out to us. Always ready to help. I'll give the poll a couple of more seconds. Thank you, guys. Any other questions? This is great. Danny, okay, you see another question. Fantastic.
Yeah, I see another question from David. How does the restore process work? Is there an average time for recovery of a PC or server? Is there an option for files and folders versus disk image backup? So I think, Lulu, that sits right inside, say, an Acronis bucket. You might want to take that up.
Yeah, this is all done through Acronis. Basically, what you can do is you can access the Acronis environment, the Acronis Cyber Protect from within your SuperOps. You have a click to access the device, and once you do, you need there isn't an average time for recovery of a PC, and also so what you do basically is you access the Acronis Cyber Protect console, you access the backups, and then you have backup versions. And within the backup versions, you also have the separate files that you can recover. I cannot provide currently an average time for recovery. It really depends on the size of the file or of the whole image that you're recovering. You can recover specific files and folders, which is very easy and really speeds up recovery. You shouldn't recover the whole PC. Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Perfect.
Maybe I'll give it a minute or so if there are any other questions, folks.
So try out the product, guys. Sign up for trial, try out the integration, see how it's working. Anything else, Acronis, SuperOps, hit us up. On SuperOps, you have the support chat channel on the bottom right, just one click away. So reach out to us, let us know, and we'll get you the right folks to address your questions.
Right. I think we have one more question. Oh, we have a question. No, we don't. That's
We have a very nice comment. The restore is
nice
very
comment.
fast.
Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel.
Perfect.
Lulu, would you like to read the comment out? It's a nice comment.
It's a fantastic comment. Thank you. But that's what we strive for.
Yeah.
One of our other users panelists, I think the comments are not something that the participants can see, but one of our participants just posted to us, the hosts and panelists, that the restore is very fast and faster than most of the other backup providers in there. So something that we're proud of as partners of Acronis, and great job there.
Yeah. And I think a very positive and a lovely way to end the session also. Thank you so much, Ani. Thank you, Lulu. This was a great session. And thank you to everybody who's joined in today. I will be sharing the recording with everybody. And for all our future webinars, please do take a look at our webinars page in SuperOps. And once again, thank you so much for joining in. Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful day.